I'm super excited for this episode today. I know when I meet with my clients, one of the major things that we always want to lock in super early and make sure we get it right is entertainment for your reception. And we are thrilled today to be joined by two members of the Crashers. Anyone who is not from the Kentuckian area, this is one of the premier bands here in our area. Anyone who is from this town has seen them, heard them, and is probably a huge fan. I know I certainly am. So we are thrilled today to have Max Maxwell and Mark Maxwell from the Crashers on today. And we are going to talk all things band at your wedding reception.
Okay, now you all can take the spotlight off Sharon some. Tell us a little bit about the Crashers.
You want to talk? You want me to?
You can do it.
Hi, my name is Mark Maxwell. I am the brother of Max Maxwell, who sits next to me on the left. He is my older brother, though everyone says I look old.
I did think you were the older one.
Everybody thinks.
Oh, okay.
And so it's because I'm so much more mature than my brother. But now, so here's the thing. So Max and I have always played music together. We've been in lots of bands together all of our lives. And 13 years ago, we said, let's make a really great band. Let's make the last band we're ever going to be in, right? Let's make this band, let's be very focused on being a great band and the things that would make us a great band. And so myself and my brother, and then another set of brothers in the band, the Jitley brothers, are in there. They play horns and all kinds of different instruments. There are 6 guys in our band, and we built this to be, like Max said, let's try to be the best wedding band that's ever been. That's our goal, right? So we had several goals that were there. It was one, how would we draw more people in a public venue than any place else? How would we do that? In other words, how would we be the best at whatever it be? So Max said, let's be the best wedding band. Well, how would we become one? What makes a great wedding band? Well, you play the songs they want, right? You don't play the songs you want. This wedding is not about Max and myself or our band at all. It's about 2 people getting married. And whoever those 2 people are, our job is to celebrate those 2 people. So last week it was Adam and Autumn, right? And Jody and Jimmy the weekend before that. And every night, that's our goal. We walk into the wedding and go, how do we make this their night all night long? And so that was our goal. Our goal was, let's be a great wedding band. You got to play all the songs they want, not the songs you want, right? So our preference was to try to figure out how to do this. So 13 years ago we started, and here we sit. And we play a lot of weddings, and we really enjoy it, and it's fun. And we've learned a lot too. So.
You guys kill it. You do an awesome job.
Well, thank you. We do try. I'll tell you this again. We know we walk in there, it's not about us. How do we celebrate 2 people? That's it. And who are those people, and how do we make the whole night, front to end, about them?
And that actually is something that I think some couples have a concern about when we meet is they're like, it's our wedding. We don't want to go to a concert.
Right.
We want the focus to be on us, but we still want really, really good entertainment and dancing. So I think that's a really important point you make, is that it has to be about the bride and the groom.
Well, I've been to a lot of weddings in my life, and I've seen a lot of things happen, especially at the reception, that I've always wondered why anybody would make it about them. Why would anybody would make anything in that entire room about them? It's all about the bride and the groom, right? Or the bride and groom,
Yeah.
whatever. It's the couple. So I think losing sight of that we're there to serve the 2 people who are getting married, and we're there to make it the most unforgettable night ever. We had a saying, when we first kind of got together and started doing these things, we had a saying that said, I hate to say this, but you're going to forget, the people at your wedding too are going to forget what kind of cake you had, what the dress looked like, sorry, right? What your flowers were like. But they're going to remember if they had a good time.
That's exactly.
For sure.
And so our thing was, that's what we're supposed to do. Let's have a great time. Let's make sure that we celebrate them all night long. And so that's the only goal. It's the only goal that anybody, I don't care if you're a DJ, if you're entertaining at an event, It should always be about the two people getting married all night long.
So let me ask you a question. Since you brought up DJ, so why would a couple choose a band over a DJ, or choose you all over someone else?
If you ask me, our band, oh, there's no doubt. There's no DJ that's going to come close to us. There's no way. We're so much more interactive than a DJ will ever be, ever. I mean, I think that's our thing, is that it's extremely interactive throughout the night.
Do you say that for any band compared to a DJ?
No.
Okay.
And I don't mean that in any bad way. I can tell you this right now.
It's okay, Max. You don't have to punch him. It's okay. You can speak freely.
Listen, here's the thing. And Max has been on this podcast before, right?
Yes.
So this is my time. Listen, here's the thing. If you think being in a band is about you, anytime, and you're in a band, you've lost the idea of being in a band. Our job, outside of even a wedding, is to entertain people so they can forget about their crappy lives, right? You have a rough week, a rough day, whatever, and you go dance to the Crashers. Our goal is for a couple of hours is to make all of that go away. We're like a good movie. You go to the movies and you walk in and you watch a great movie and you're like all in, and then you walk out the door and reality hits you again. That's us. To me, we're a really good movie that you're going to go in and for a couple of hours you're going to forget about everything that happened to you this past week. And maybe feel a little bit better when you walk out the door.
Love it.
This makes me think of something.
Go ahead.
So for people out there that are thinking about using a band for their entertainment, for their wedding,
Yeah, go watch them.
that's what I was going to ask.
Go
Do you
watch them.
recommend that they see them in
Are
person?
you kidding me? Yes. You should go see them in person and more importantly, study their videos. And, I think it's great. I love live music, especially if it's done well. And there are some good bands around here. Don't get me wrong. I don't think we're the best of the best, even though I kind of do. But I'm saying I don't think that I don't like. But there's other bands that I've seen, and I think, man, these guys are really good, and they're really fun, and some of them do celebrate the bride and groom. But if they don't, I'll go up to them afterwards. A lot of times, just to my friends and go, man, just remember this: it's about two people tonight. This has nothing about you singing a song. This has nothing to do with your drummer, your keyboard player, or anything else. It's about those two people.
Well, and I've seen some of your pictures and things, and I know you're interactive with the crowd,
Yes.
and you're there trying to get other people involved, the wedding party and things like that. Pictures tell a big story, I feel like, from a band standpoint, from a reception.
Sure.
What is something that you hear people ask you all about if they're on the fence about using a band? Do you all get some of the same similar questions?
Oh yeah, everything you've asked here, and it's hard. It's almost like I just say, well, just come watch us. Come out and watch us do our thing. Even though our public shows are different than our wedding stuff, it is a bit different. Or I tell them to crash their wedding, because you know how hard it is. It's easy to crash a wedding. You can go to anybody's wedding in this town, walk in the door, start dancing and have a good time, and no one will ever know. You can eat all the food and everything. Think about it. The bride doesn't know the groom's people. The groom people don't know the bride's people. The mom and dads on that side don't know that side. So you could go to any
We're
wedding.
opening a whole new level.
You can sit at any table, talk with everybody. The Wedding Crashers movie was spot on. It was spot on. You can go to any wedding in this town, anytime you want, eat all the food you want, as long as you're not.
I've actually asked clients that I've actually had clients that were considering a band or even a certain DJ. And I've asked other clients, hey, do you care if so-and-so stops by your wedding, to see the band or to hear the DJ? So I haven't totally had anybody crash, but I have arranged that they'd be able to come by.
Is that recommended? Sharon, is that what you're saying? You recommend it being arranged?
Well, Mark just said it was okay, so
No,
there's gonna be a lot of crashing
listen.
going on.
I don't think there's any problem with that. I got to be honest with you. I tell everybody that my whole life has been one of those things of act like you're supposed to be there, and you're supposed to be there. That's the way it is. And don't be a jackass, right? Don't go in there and be stupid. Go in there to, check things out. Eat some of the food. Have a drink. Talk to some of the guests if you want. But more importantly, watch the band.
Is this an episode on how to crash weddings?
I'm just saying to you, if it was me,
Okay.
if it was me, I would do my research. my due diligence of research, and I don't know
I
how
don't think
you
you
do
should
that.
ever hire a band that you haven't seen perform.
Totally agree with you.
Yeah.
I think that is that's. I
Well,
think so.
So the biggest problem with bands that we see in the wedding markets is that a lot of these bands that don't have the same members every time. Like there's different members at every single wedding they play. They don't have the same people playing in the band.
I've had that happen.
And with us, it's never been that way. We've never done a wedding ever without these 6 people. And if you don't go see them, you don't know what you're getting. You really don't know what you're getting. You don't know if they can actually, they may bring a different singer in every single time. And they may not be able to sing the songs that you want to sing that night.
We actually had a band brought in out of Chicago at one of my very first weddings, actually. And it was none of the people that the couple had went to Chicago to see at a nightclub perform.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was an issue.
Yeah.
It was an issue.
So, I'm sorry, Sharon, you just mentioned something about music. Do you ask people to give you a set list if they're using a band for you or if they're using another band? Even if,
Yeah,
let's say
sure.
they're not even local.
Well, luckily our website has all that on there, and typically I'll send that list to them.
And they can tell us not to play something.
Yeah, I ask them. I say, hey, what on this? Do you let us know what on this list you don't want us to play? Because I'd rather know that than what you want us to play.
Okay, what's the top song that people say they don't want you to play?
Well, it's not a top song.
It's something that reminds them maybe of their boyfriend from high school.
Does that make sense?
Brings up a bad
Or
memory.
a
It's
bad
not the
memory.
duck dance or
No,
the
we don't
And
have
we can
that.
do all of those if they want us to, but we've never been asked to do those or not do those.
Please don't do the chicken dance.
We don't.
What
I
did
hate
I call it?
the duck dance.
It's close enough.
I think of.
Well,
It's the same thing.
So when engaged couples come to you all, what's some of the questions that they should ask you to build up to your services?
Well, are there actually, because they're
There's-
trusting in this band,
Yeah.
just like
Right.
they're trusting in their other wedding professionals is what you're getting
But
at,
if I'm a
right?
wedding planner and I call Max and I say, hey, I have a client considering the Crashers, to do my due diligence, what should I ask you?
are we available?
Yeah.
Are you available? That would be the first question. The second question would be, how much are you, right? Which is a lot. And then the third thing that, hey, listen, you pay,
You get what you pay for.
you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
That's another thing you'll figure out about this thing. You find something that's a good deal,
Let me be specific. The other thing that we started doing early on is that most bands would play an hour, take a half an hour break, play an hour, take a half an hour. And they go, oh, we play 4 hours. Well, they don't play 4 hours. They play 1 hour, and then that 30 minutes they take that break, half your guests leave and go home because they're tired. And so what we started implementing is that we would play straight through, so 2.5 hours of straight music, typically.
That's
Is
awesome.
what we do for a wedding because, again,
you'll lose them.
yeah, we don't want to lose them for any reason, and we want them to leave there sweaty. We want them to leave there sweaty and exhausted, and going, that's the best thing I've ever been to in my life. And it happens every single time. Every time we do that.
And that sounds like a good question, though, is if you're not even local to us and you're considering a band, find out their timeline that they play.
Because
How long is it?
most of the bands I have worked with do exactly what Max just said. They play an hour, then they put on like a computer from a laptop or something.
The duck dance.
Yeah.
They put the duck
They
dance
put on a computer. Did anybody else?
They put it on a computer,
Like
right?
an iPad or
They
something,
plug-
and
they
they
plug
play
it, yeah, they play
and they
Spotify.
take a break.
Yeah, they got Spotify.
Yeah.
Okay, so
We don't
that
do that.
brings me to another thing. Sharon, you've come across this, I'm sure, but when people hire a band, that some of them think they also have to have an MC, or do they also have to have a DJ?
Well, and I'd certainly ask the band if they take care of that. And if they said they
Announcements and bridal party introductions.
don't book them. Yeah, I wouldn't book them. If they didn't take care of that, I wouldn't book them.
Yeah,
That's
because then you
just
have to
part-
pay 2 vendors for
Yeah.
really what is one job.
That's right. And the band should do that because it enables the band to then be interactive with what's happening, and connect that them to the audience immediately. And
Yeah.
so it's
For a long time, I would handle the things that would happen. Hello. Like I would be the guy who would do the announcements, and sometimes I'll still do them, but we lucked out because we have an amazing sound man. So a sound man is the guy who makes you sound great, right? You're at the mercy of your sound man.
And if the crashers come, he comes with, right?
Always.
Okay.
So there are 7 people that are always in that room, 6 guys in the band and our sound man. His name is Dave. And Dave used to be on the radio all the time. So not only is a great sound man and can control it, and we never have an issue, but more importantly, he's really good on a microphone. And so, hey, could you make this announcement? Could you say this?
So the sound man is the one that announces it. Not,
Always.
Oh, okay.
Now it's always him until I hit the stage and start to sing, then I take over. So now Dave is so, like I didn't know that he was that comfortable with it, and then I remembered, this guy's been on radio all the time.
He's a DJ.
He knows what he's doing. And so I just
That's
kind
a
of
great
stepped
asset.
out. Oh my gosh, we lucked out. And so I just stepped out of the way and said, let him handle it. So
Because sometimes I know when I'm working with a band, I end up going up to the side of the stage trying to get somebody's attention to say hey, it's time to cut the cake, or hey, and I can't get anybody to look at me, and I don't know who I'm supposed to talk to.
So I'm assured that you get a timeline. Sharon's really big on timelines. You get a timeline and you just follow that timeline.
we do.
Yeah. I have my own timeline that I run, and then if they give that to us, and that we share that with everybody. So we have 3 other guys other than our sound person that takes care of all of our equipment, and they're there for the evening, take care of our lighting and anything else that's needed, like getting cake or whatever. And so if those people all have that same list, so they're all aware of what's happening. They know
We're all
what
on the
time.
same
They know
page.
what time the flowers, what they're going to do with this and what they're going to do with that, and if they're going to cut the cake here and they're going to do an announcement here. Everybody in the group knows.
And I think what I'm hearing now is, I have worked with bands that did not have that support team, the sound man, the people to take care of the instruments that you're talking about. And what I've had happen is, you've got somebody hopping off the stage to try to correct a problem with sound, or, somebody has to hop off the stage to change lights.
Mhm.
So I think for us non-musical people, to know what has to happen behind the scenes, I think those are great questions for engaged couples to ask, because I wouldn't have known any. I've seen you guys play, I'm from Jeffersonville, I've seen you a million times, but I never knew those people were there, because you don't see them.
They're ninjas, is what we say. But go ahead. They are. We have a light guy, we have a sound guy, and then we have 2 other guys that maintain all things so that you don't. You get what I'm saying? We just get up and do our thing, and they support that well, and we never leave the stage. Like Max said, we're the only band that I know that does this. That just says, because we know you're gonna lose people. And if you want to retain a lot of people for the entire night, you can't stop the music. You just can't.
Oh, you can watch it in any way.
Yeah, you
The
can.
minute the iPad comes on,
It's over.
especially older people,
It's
they're
the
like,
kiss of
oh,
death.
that's our cue.
Yeah.
This is our next
And
thing.
I know that, and as the lead singer, my job is to connect it with the older crowd even quicker than I do the young people, because I know they're going to stick around. So I'm reading it going, who's looking for the door? And
Right.
I will go literally to them and
I've
dance
seen
with them
you.
and sing with them and pull them on the dance floor. Because as soon as they start having fun, they'll stay the rest of the night. That's
You
it.
got 'em.
You got
You've got 'em.
You got to hook them. And here's the thing too: a band or a DJ, if they're in it for the money, or if they're in it for any other reason than that they love to do this, they shouldn't do it, right? And if they are going to do it, why wouldn't they think it really thoroughly through to be the best business they can be, right? The best band, the best DJ. How do we fulfill whatever your client is? How do we fulfill whatever they think ought to happen and make it happen?
What if a client has a first dance song, this came up, that's not on the band's set list?
So for us, that's something we've included since the beginning. If we will learn one of your dance songs, because sometimes we'll know the first dance song, but we won't know the mother son song. And so we'll learn one of those songs for you. And then if you need us to learn, because we rehearse every single week, this band rehearses every single week. A lot of wedding bands,
That's important to
they
us.
don't, you need to find out how much they add, because quite frankly, if somebody books us a year from now, we're gonna have another probably 40 songs added to our song list between that time frame. But yes, we will learn the first dance song. It's one of the things that I sell to the bride and groom is that, hey, we'll even learn your first dance song if we don't already know it.
And sometimes we'll even learn more than that, though I don't like to. I'm just saying, I don't want to learn a whole bunch of songs, but the idea is that if they have things that mean something to them, then it means something to us.
Right.
And that's the way it goes.
So the bride says, look, this song is really special to my dad. He knows
Yes.
it.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
gonna learn it.
We had it last week. We had somebody say, hey, we want this Randy Travis song as our first dance song, right? It was like, I'm gonna love you forever. You know, forever and ever, amen.
Mike, you didn't tell us he was going to serenade.
Wait a minute. So then they said also, we want this Elton John song called Blessed, of which makes me want to puke. But listen, there are great Elton John songs out there. Just that, and I just get it. It means so much to a mom. This song really does. So the mother-son dance, I find that this song's probably, we've already done it twice. So I don't expect that we're not going to do it in the future again, because it does, the lyrics are amazing. And so, but in that, yes, we want to cater as much as we possibly can towards what they do. That's it. It's catering.
Yeah, and so on our website, if you go to the website, we break down what we do song-wise, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, new stuff, you know. So that's all broken down so you can actually look at it and instead of just seeing this big list of songs that someone might do. We have all 500 songs on our song list. Most bands do not have that.
How do you even?
How do you
remember that?
Yeah.
I'm thinking of Mark, like to remember the words.
You know how he does that.
I mean, Mark, you just remember them, right? You
Yeah,
don't need anything to look at. Right?
No, I have an iPad. I do have an iPad. But I would tell you that probably within any one night, I would probably look at it 10% of the time, right? Meaning that I have to have a crutch 10% of the time on any one show.
Well, a 500 song set list.
Jeez.
It is, yeah, and it's most of the time it's just the first word. I literally sometimes have to just turn around and go, get me started, somebody. And they'll go, like a fool. And then I'll start singing, and then I got the whole song. So it's almost
something to.
It's something to trigger my memory of what is the next lyric I have to sing. That's the hardest part is lyrics. I could play guitar all night long and play any song in the entire world. I don't know why. Because once you know the lick or once you're there, it is what it is. But lyrics, man,
Yeah,
what
I
a pain
can't
in the
imagine.
butt.
Yeah.
So, but, you know, I think most people wouldn't know it because I'm mostly in the crowd. You know, I'm mostly dance on the dance floor, getting them to, you know, to have fun. And so, but yeah, you got it. That's a bit of a crutch.
But there is that option to personalize what's played.
Always.
Yep.
I mean, you can tell that you're going to get, you can tell you're there for the couple and not just to have fun. I mean, even though you're having fun.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're going out and learning a song and wanting to give them the product that they want, hell, he sold me just sitting here.
Yeah.
Okay, so Max, you mentioned it earlier. How far out if a person's gonna use a band? Sharon, you talk about not being married to dates. If a person's gonna use a band, you all, how far out?
Well, I mean, fortunate for us, every single public date that we do, by the time we do that date this year, they're booking us for next year. So those dates are gone off the books, if that makes sense. Mark and I look at the calendar and go, okay, here's River Stage, and here's this, and here's Greencastle, and here's this thing we do in Minneapolis. Those are already going in the book, right? And so typically, if where are we at? We're in August, right? So August of next year is already pretty much full. You know, we
With
just
public-
started.
public
No.
Everything.
Weddings.
And so right now, fall is the only thing next year there's some early in the year because you know how January, February weddings are, but we just booked one in Atlanta. I guess we booked one in Atlanta in February. So the typically we stay a year out on just about everything. A year out. I've already got stuff for 23 that's in the books. So
Okay, you just mentioned Atlanta, so you'll travel.
We'll go anywhere, anytime. We had a couple asking us about the Caribbean, and I said, yes.
Do they need
Sign
a
me up.
planner?
Pay us, pay us.
Do they need a wedding planner?
Don't pay us, just send us there.
Well,
Feed us.
you did your all's own cruise.
We did do a crasher cruise a few years ago.
You did.
That probably will never happen again.
You didn't like that?
I'm saying with the way the world is, it'll probably never
Yeah,
happen
mine just got
again.
canceled.
Did it?
Yeah, the one I'm going to one in October on World Caribbean. Just got
Oh,
canceled
no.
last night.
Oh.
Well,
So,
sorry about that.
Another question that comes up, and I know it even comes up for me in my own business. Brides will say, you're my wedding planner, you are Perfect Plan Events. What if you're sick the day of my wedding? And I have a plan for that, and I have other planners I can call in. What if one of the crashers is sick on the day of a wedding? What's the plan, the backup plan? I mean, that's an important question for a bride to know the answer to.
Yeah, I know this answer to this.
You're there no matter what.
We take our health very seriously. And what I mean by this is that we talk about this as a band. Like, we don't get sick. It's not 13 years, never missed one. 13 years. Now, I'm not going to say accidents don't happen, but do we have a backup plan? Yes. Is there a drummer that can fill Max's shoes? Sure. Is there a singer that can sing for me? Absolutely. I can invite, and honestly, yes, we can make it good. Can we make it as great as the Crashers? I don't think it's ever going to happen. There are 6 guys that make up the Crashers, and that's what that is.
And they're all very dedicated. You've all been together a long time.
I'm telling you, we're married. 6 guys married to each other. Like you would be killed if you left the Crashers. Like, we would kill you.
So you all have been together since day one?
Day one, 6 guys.
13 years.
13 years.
13 years. Not one person has missed a
And
show.
isn't that almost unheard of in the music world?
Well, you can't say that. You can't say that 13 years and not someone's missed a show.
That's true. We've had
Okay, I'm
There's
of
It's
6.
not a wedding. Somebody hasn't.
yeah, never a wedding, never
Never a wedding. We would never do that. But in this case, in 13 years, there has been Max missed one.
Yeah,
I missed one.
Jeff missed one.
Yeah, but nothing major. Like, it was a smaller gig. It was something that we pulled in people and
Early
we
on.
made it. We made it.
You all have
better.
so many connections in the music industry. I think that's what Sharon was really asking
Yeah.
about. It's a phone call, it's a text message, and you
It's
have a
not
backup
like you would
plan.
cancel.
And not only that,
events.
even if, let's say, I didn't do it or I couldn't do it, like, we were playing a nightclub and my doctor said, hey, don't you sing. And I could have sang, but instead I called half a dozen of my best buddies and they all sang and I stood up on stage with them. We had the best time.
And the crowd probably loved
The
it.
crowd loved it only because I'm standing there, we're having fun, but all the guys were, all these guys and girls were getting up singing songs and it was just a big party.
Yeah.
So if anything, we'll make it really good.
Yeah.
So
And as a couple, the Crashers would never cancel an appearance.
never.
Yeah. You would
Yeah.
figure it out.
It's
That's
never
it.
happened. It's never happened, and I literally our goal in life is for it to never happen. So we're a business about weddings. We want to be the best wedding band ever, and that's our goal. And every day we work towards that. And again, one guy is dedicated to dealing with all the weddings, but everybody else in this band knows that's what we are. A really good wedding.
Love that.
So Max, if someone's interested in talking to you all about having you or even inquiring, what are some questions that you'd like to know from them? What's some information that helps you?
Well, a lot of it, first is where's your reception? And sometimes they don't even know that because we're the first one they're booking. They're like, I need to find out what date you're available so that then I can find a venue or wherever it is. But typically I want to know the venue. I want to know how many people they're expecting. I want to know if they do have a budget or not. Those are questions that I ask. Whether you actually have a budget. Typically, if they're calling us, their budget's a pretty nice budget. I don't care how much they're spending on everything else, but I want to know that they're.
Well, if they're getting the band, they've got a pretty good budget
Yeah.
behind them.
Yeah, it's interesting because what I'm being told by other planners is that there's a whole lot more people looking for bands than there ever have been. Like people are
I've had a
asking
lot
and
more.
wanting to have a band and not to say anything bad about DJs, because there are really, really good DJs out there.
Mm-hmm.
But they want to have that interaction with more than just one person, if that makes sense. More than one person. In fact, if I was a DJ, you know what I'd do? I just told my buddy this the other day. He's a saxophone player, drummer, and he wants to be a DJ. I said, well, I just mix all that stuff up. If it were me, I'd be this interactive person that played percussion on the songs,
Yeah,
played
play
saxophone solos on the
That's a
song.
good idea.
I said that would be so unique and
That is
different
cool.
than anybody else. And people, you could get people involved in that. You could bring the bride and groom up like we do, have them get on stage with us, play the cowbell show off thing that we do on stage. And because to me, again, the more that we can connect with the bride and groom, the more that connects with their guests. Because the guests want to see nothing more than the bride and groom on stage.
Right.
So we try to do that as much as we can.
And I think too, if a couple goes to a wedding with a band, and then I think that makes them want a band.
Mhm.
If it's a good band,
Yeah,
or it makes them say,
I don't want that.
I never want to see that again in my whole life.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I've had some really good experiences, and I've had a not so great experience. So
Yeah.
yeah,
There's not a lot of information we need off right at the beginning. There's really not. We just want to know, if it's in Louisville or if it's in Indianapolis or Lexington or Cincinnati, wherever it is. We just need to know that
Is there-
information.
anything that as a planner I would need to think of, like, do you guys require a stage?
Ooh, good question.
Yeah, that's a great one.
A lot of times I get a rider from a band that tells
We
me
have that.
Yeah, we do that. Yeah, our
what
band-
power requirements they need, which
Yeah.
that always looks like Japanese to me, but I give it to the appropriate people. And
Right.
then, if there's a stage or if they're okay to play on the same level. And then, do they need a hot meal? Do they need water? Those kind of things.
Mhm.
So you have a rider?
We have a rider on our contract that explains all that stuff. We always want a stage because we feel like if there's not a stage, then the only people who are going to really be connected
Right
with
in
us
front.
are the first 2 rows, first 2 or 3 rows, and that's it. If the
Right.
band is up off the ground, and quite frankly, if there was a DJ, I want the DJ up off the ground as well, because that really helps the crowd connect to you when they can see you above everybody else. It really works well, and we actually have a stage. The band, we purchased a stage so that if someone wants to rent that from us and the venue doesn't
Oh,
have
that's
it.
awesome.
I just spoke with Alex about this from
The refinery.
yeah, and he asked me about that because
Yeah.
we were discussing it, and he said, "Yeah, well, we have a stage." I said, "Well, I didn't even realize you had one." If we knew that, we would say, "Well."
But it's awesome because sometimes they're hard to find, and then sometimes, on some band riders, it gives me dimensions.
Right.
So I might be able to find a stage, but it's not exactly what the band needs,
Mm-hmm.
depending on
Right.
how many members are in the band. So
Yeah.
that's really good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, our contract is pretty detailed. So when you get our contract, it's pretty simple. It's like a 2-page thing.
Yeah, it's not.
It's nothing big, it's nothing gigantic, but it just says, here's what you gotta think about, right? And that's all we want you to do is here's what you gotta think about. There's no hidden cost or anything, just here's what we require. And so that's a huge thing.
Yeah.
I think a professional band would have that,
Yeah.
right?
Well, and the other thing, here's something else. I have people all the time asking me, "Well, send me your packages," and I'm like, I don't understand the packages. And again, if we go back to the situation where you have not the same band at every gig,
Mhm.
that's a package. Because what they want to know is, well, we only going to use these 4 guys, and then if you want to add these
Never thought of
horns,
that, yeah.
I want to add the horns, so that's going to be another $1,000, and I'm going to add the girl singer, and that's going to be another $1,000. And those people ask me for those packages, and look, we got one package.
We are what we are.
Here's the package. Yeah, here's the package, and you're getting the Crashers, all of them, 100% every time we play.
Well, and I love that you have your people that come with you, because then I'm not, as the wedding planner, crawling under the stage trying to figure out where to plug something in because something went bad. I mean,
Yeah.
I've gotten into some messes, so I think that's really amazing.
Sharon, one thing that you all are talking about, a rider. For somebody listening to us that, they're getting married for the first time, so explain what that is.
Well, it's a person that is on the back of a horse.
And you tell them what kind of saddle they need,
Yeah,
or what length the stirrup should
we
be.
need a rider on every, show.
Yeah.
So there has to always be somebody riding on the back of the horse.
Do you have like a blanket requirement? I mean,
Okay.
you
so-
mentioned this, and I do know a tad bit about that. No,
That's it.
honestly.
I will let them explain it, because I'm sure they know more about it even than I do.
So our contract in there is a little bit a rider that says we would like to have a room to chill in.
I just meant the
Called
word
room.
rider is just
Oh.
kind of like requirements.
Yeah, it's
right?
like, yeah.
Not the details about
A
yours.
rider is the band needs water, right? And they talk about riders, it is everything that you would need to provide, right?
Okay.
So a case of water,
So every band's rider or requirements
are
would
different.
be different.
Sure.
Okay.
I thought you were talking about a rider truck.
That's
Well,
what you
when
mentioned
Sharon
that.
said rider, I don't know that people listening may know.
But as a
that that-
planner, when I hire a band, I literally fine tooth comb that, because it's my responsibility to see that they're set up for success when they
Well,
show up.
Yeah, we're glad that you do that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times you have to remind them, especially the bride and groom, because once they sign the contract, and it's in the file.
Outside, out of
Yeah,
mind.
it's gone.
Band's book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for those out there that might not be using a planner, you encourage them, if they're not using you, if they're using someone else, make sure they review that rider so they know what's expected.
That's
Is
correct.
that the right way to say
Yeah.
that?
So
Sorry,
let's
Mike,
go
I
back
know you're
to the packages. So if you're playing here in Louisville, or you're going to Cincinnati or Nashville, so does that your price just depends on?
Yeah,
A
that.
little bit more.
And the other thing is that, like, if we play in Cincinnati and the event is over at midnight, and our production team has to tear all that stuff down, it's going to be 2 a.m. by the time they leave. We don't want them on the road at 2 a.m. driving back home. It's okay for us to leave at midnight and drive back. It's okay. But so there may be hotel accommodations that are needed for our production team. A lot of times none of us really stay too often unless we played the night before, we're going to play again the next night. There may be some of that. So if we do play in Cincinnati, Indianapolis, there could be some additions there. Obviously, it costs us a little more money to drive the truck up there and that kind of thing. So yeah, it's different. The price is different if we travel.
So each individual couple or party, wedding, whatever you're doing, is set different.
If it's not local.
Yeah,
If it's not local.
yes. If you're in Indianapolis, it's this. If you're in Louisville, it's this. If you're in Lexington, it's this. That's really what it is. There's not we don't have we're going to bring in a trombone player. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
we don't typically have those additions. Now, we can do that if you want it, but we don't. It's not something we offer because it's not what we do.
Our
You
Mark
don't-
says he will sing for free if he is allowed to go to the Caribbean and have a hotel and something to eat.
You're darn right. I'd say, listen, I would. I don't need to be paid. If it's anywhere where the sun is, right?
One
And
hundred
it's
percent.
and there are there's free food and drinks. I'm there. So that's all I have.
Free food is right.
So let's go back to the music for just a few
Why do you
minutes.
think I showed up here today? They said there was free lunch.
That's why.
Yeah, you just got some fruit. What's
I
a
did.
fruit cocktail?
I did.
Okay, so music. So do you all ask people like for a full list for them to play? I mean,
No.
they really should trust in the band, right? Like you don't want them dictating to you, right?
Well, yeah, and a lot of it we're flipping around. Once we get there, we look at the audience and we go. We put together a set list. It's our rough wedding set list, so we know that grandma and grandpa, great grandma and grandpa, and the little kids that come to the wedding are all going to be happy about it. They're going to go, oh my gosh, they played all the songs that we wanted to hear. I got happy, they got happy, everybody's good. But within that night, we're selecting things, going, oh, we need to play this song. Here's the group of young people here, so we're going to play a Taylor Swift song that may not have been on the set. So we don't recommend that the ones that they give us this list, huge list of songs, that we want all of these songs, and we're like, look, man, we really
Trust us.
Yeah, we shouldn't play this Rush song at your wedding. I don't think anybody's going to really dance to this Rush song. Now, and I understand you probably want that, but I think it's a bad idea. Trust us. We've been doing this a long time, and we can take a look at the audience and go, this is what we need.
Trust in your experience
Yeah.
to deliver the performance based on the crowd.
That's correct.
Well, it's like we've said on so many podcasts, we always talk about putting together your A team of vendors. You hire the best experts in each field, and then you get out of the way and you let them do their job.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys have played music their whole lives. It's what they do, and it's their job to read that crowd and see what that crowd's going to respond to.
Yeah.
And I know that we've talked about you all will play wherever you can get to, or wherever somebody will send you. So if they can't come and see you live, you mentioned it earlier, you recommend them checking out your pictures, your videos, things
sure.
like that.
Yeah, YouTube. I don't, and again, we're not maybe for everybody. I know that for a fact. But we're for most. And if you want your night to be extremely memorable, and I believe that's what we do for you. Like, I think people walk away going, oh my gosh, Matt and Melissa's wedding that was amazing. That was so much fun. Matt and Melissa's wedding. And people will never forget that. They'll just never forget that. As opposed to, I can tell you, I've been to a lot of weddings and I didn't remember a dang thing about it, right?
Yeah.
There was nothing that made it was special. There was nothing ever that night that was just like magical. We're trying to create magic. That's all we're doing.
And
That's
I
awesome.
think that goes back to what you're saying about reading a crowd.
It is. Like we played, listen, we were playing this thing and I showed up and I go, oh wow, we need to rethink this. This is an older demographic, right? This is an older demographic. Or just like last weekend, look at all these kids. And there are so many kids.
Yeah,
And
they play some Harry Styles.
it was like, hey, how can we get to them, right? How can we have them be engaged and have fun too? And so I think that's what we're doing the whole night, is just trying to watch people to see who's burying their head in their phone.
Mm-hmm.
Literally,
What's going to get that person up?
how do you get that person out of their phone? You go and watch a wedding anymore and look around the people. Just view people. 90% of them are on their phone. 90%. Come to a crasher wedding.
They're not on their phone.
I can tell you 10% on. It's flip-flopped. So 10% of the people, and those are the people I walk over to and stand right in front of and sing until they look up and realize I'm singing to them. And then half of those people will put their phone down and they will come. Maybe they're afraid I'm going to do it again or something, but they'll come to the dance floor.
Right.
And all I'm trying to do is go, look, this is a great night.
Yeah, forget everything.
Forget it, yeah.
Sharon, you're around weddings a lot. Not that Mike isn't, but you're there for the event.
Well,
I think this can only come from working together so long, being able to read a room, but being flexible. Like, I'm not sure I'm that experienced with bands, but I don't know how many bands would just up and adjust their set list according to what they went in planning to do.
Well, honestly, my experience has been that some of them don't even have that ability. Because, like Max was saying, they might not have all been together for so long, and you don't know who knows what. They came in ready to play this set list because that's what they were given. So I think just the fact that they have the ability to, on a dime, change it up.
You're versatile.
Yeah.
well, and
Yeah.
knowing music from the 60s to today, I mean, that's a wide span.
He actually said the 50s.
That's
Oh,
true.
50s, okay.
Yeah. And actually, we can
Almost
probably, Yeah.
depends on two.
we can go further back, but I think, listen, there are some good bands in this town. And there are some good wedding bands too that are around here. And there are some, just the same way, there are some good DJs that do a good job. I think you just gotta search it. You gotta look, find out who it is, because you wouldn't not go to the venue you're gonna have your wedding. You would not, that sounds good, I'll take that room
Yeah, I've never
over the
seen it,
phone,
or
I've
walked
never
through
seen
it,
it, walk through that, nothing, oh yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we can get married there. Yeah, oh, you're a band? Yeah, I'll book you. Do your research. It's the two most important things, in my opinion, your room and your band. To me, it is so important to have those things locked in, because band's gonna bring the good time. And the room's either gonna fit everybody and it's gonna be wonderful.
You do know Michael is the florist, right?
No. Listen, everybody knows it's gonna be
It's all good.
Now
It's all
florals
good.
are important. Listen,
Listen, here's the thing. Flowers are always at a wedding.
But you know they're going to
And
be
there's
like
always going to be a cake, and there's always going to be a wedding planner. It's just people. I mean, I think what it gets down to is I want them to always have a live band.
I completely agree with you.
And it supports more people when you do so. When we go anywhere, there's 10, 11, 12 people that are supported by you hiring our band, right?
Right.
Which I love. I love the fact that not just one guy gets all the money sticks in his pocket. It feeds 11, 12 families.
Well, and I know sometimes I have conversations with brides all the time because they get fixated on these little details that in my opinion, and this is not the wedding planner thing to say, don't really matter. I mean, everything matters, but like you're talking about experience. You know, I came home and I'm like, oh my God, I danced all night. That is the most fun I've ever had at a wedding. I've never ever came home from a wedding and been like, man, they gave me a crappy plate. They gave me a plain white plate.
Right.
Because nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. So I think if you're on that, you know, if you're watching your budget, put your money where it's going to have the most impact. Is what I always tell my girls: put it where your photos are and put it where your experience are.
Right.
So I think they summed it up. I think that this was band 101.
Band 101.
Well, okay, so a couple questions to close this out, all right?
Can we do rapid fire? I love
Yes,
rapid
okay,
fire.
go ahead. Yes, you start with rapid fire. I'll let you
I
start.
don't know what that is.
I don't know.
You don't remember this?
I didn't do.
For those of you that don't remember, Max was on here with us before because he does something called Cake Take. You want to plug that real quick? Go ahead.
I review wedding cakes on YouTube and on the Instagram. If you're on the Instagram and the YouTube.
In a friendly way, right?
Yes, you can. Oh yeah.
On Tuesdays.
No one makes a bad cake.
Tasty Tuesdays.
There are a few bad cakes, but typically.
But he keeps that to himself.
Mark,
Yeah.
does he let you in on any of this or no?
No, I wish he did because I mean I don't like cake like he does. Like we would be playing weddings literally for the first 10 years of this band. We would be playing and Max would be playing and you'd look back and he was single-handedly playing drums and was eating cake off of this floor tom while we were playing, and you never would have known that would happen.
He doesn't miss a beat.
Doesn't miss a beat. So, and forever he would, that was his whole thing. It's like, I don't care what happens, just give me a piece of the cake. And then finally he was like, why don't I do a show about this?
Is that in the requirements?
It is 100% in the contract.
Slice the cake to the drummer.
On the writer.
On the right.
Thank you.
Okay, Mark, this one's for you.
Here it goes.
You cannot say your family because that's a given.
Mm-hmm.
What do you love? What can you not live without?
The sun. I love the sun.
That's why you'll sing for free in the Caribbean.
Totally. I love the sun.
The
Yeah, that
sun.
would be my besides my family. My wife, by the way, is a makeup artistry person
She's
in this
my
wedding
favorite.
band. I know.
I love her.
Angie Maxwell,
Airbrush.
airbrush, and she airbrushes, you know, paint, and she also
Spray tan.
spray tans people. And I love. Thanks for putting all the words in my mouth.
I know Angie. I've known Angie
I
a long
know,
time.
but I.
What
just-
else do you need to know, Mark?
No, No, but here's the thing. Both of us are the same way. Like, we are very focused. We even have conversations about this. She is very important to the things that make a bride feel good about herself at the wedding. And I provide the joy and music at the wedding. So,
She's beautiful.
we're a family that does this kind of thing. So,
I think that you
I am.
having like
I am. You can go ahead and make fun of me. Go ahead.
knowing
It's
both
okay.
of you, I think you both have a servant's heart.
Look,
I've noticed Angie, and
oh, she's great.
yeah.
She's much better than me. Than you.
Are you gonna ask Max that same question or no? Just Mark?
No, I have a different question.
Okay, go ahead.
Rapid fire.
You can
Right.
go.
Right.
Okay, I have a question for both of you. What was the first concert you attended?
Summer Jam with Foreigner. Hold on. Steve Miller Band. Wait. REO Speedwagon. Thin Lizzy. Roadmaster.
Were you at the same concert?
We were at the same concert. It was an outdoor concert in Louisville. That was our very first show. But the second show, and one we would have chosen to go to, was Kiss.
Yes.
And it was Judas Priest opened up for Kiss, but we were big Kiss fans when we were kids. That dates us, but
My husband is such a Kiss fan that he even has his own room in our basement.
I love that.
Well, truthfully, he
selection.
needs the whole basement, but somebody won't let him have the whole basement.
Ah. I love
Yes.
that. I need to come over to your house then. That'd be fun.
Okay, go ahead, Mike, your
Wait a
turn.
second, I get to tell mine.
Oh, I'm
Mine was different.
I thought you were agreeing with him, I'm
No,
sorry.
I wasn't.
Well, you remember Max
I
is the
have to tell
older
story.
brother, so
Yeah,
maybe he went to one before.
I have to tell the
That's
story, the story of the situation with the summer jam. The summer jam, if you didn't know that, was like an outdoor thing at the fairgrounds. And we were both, I was 13 maybe?
Maybe I was
Yeah.
12. I think
He
so.
was probably 11 or 12 when I was 13 or 14, and our dad took us down there and dropped us off. And we had backstage passes because we had to take drumsticks to REO Speedway. So we were these kids, there were 3 of us. Mike DeWeese was with us.
And running around in the backstage with all these crazy drug-taking people. Literally, we were flipping out.
So but that wasn't the very first one I went to was Boston,
Sammy Hagar.
Hagar, and who else was it? Eddie Money. That's who. That was the first one that I went.
So for our listeners that don't know you guys, your father was pretty well known in the music
Yeah, he
industry,
still is.
which is probably
Still
why you
is, yes.
which is probably why you were delivering drumsticks too.
We were, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they called him and said, hey, we need some drumsticks. And
Mr. Maxwell owned
he just dropped us off and left.
Maxwell's Music.
And we were there
Yes.
all day by ourselves.
So,
He still keeps you all in line, right?
yeah, our dad started a music store called Far Out Music over in Clarksville, and then he started Mom's Music in Louisville. And now we have Mom's Music and Maxwell's House of Music, and my dad still is crazy. And yes, he did drop us off to a bunch of crazy people. I saw things that night
Oh.
I couldn't believe.
Yeah.
So back to our wedding
Okay, go
that we're
ahead.
doing here.
For
Okay,
anybody
did you have a
For
question?
anybody watching our YouTube channel, I want them to watch the expressions that just came across both of these faces.
Go ahead.
It was something.
So let's make it a
Mark
little bit
forgot
more
that we
subdued.
were videoing.
A little bit more subdued. What is your favorite word? Mark.
Indeed.
I think mine's probably amazing.
Mark, what is your absolute least favorite song to sing that the Crashers do still perform?
Butterfly kisses.
I think
That's a
Mike,
very-
I think Mike
I
thinks that
can't
one
see
too.
Mark singing that song.
That's a very common.
Don't say it, 'cause
Hey, listen,
You
I
say it.
sing it well.
Yeah.
And I love when I get to sing it because I do it well.
There's a couple of that one's one of the ones that makes me tear up.
It does. Actually, there's a song,
What's the other one?
that one song
yeah.
we all get, like, Cinderella.
Oh, it's
You know
terrible.
Cinderella?
I do.
It's at,
It's one of the most popular father-daughter
oh my
It's
gosh.
making
playing Cinderella after bedtime prayers.
Play.
Yes. So we're all like, you know,
'Cause they
there's
both
something in
have
my
fathers.
eyes. There must be something in my eye. Yeah, it does. That touches us. So.
What's your absolute favorite song to sing?
If the crowd has never seen us before, anything that makes them sing along with us. So I like songs that they sing to. And so, I don't know, there's a bunch of songs like that. So I don't know if there's any favorite, but I just know the moment everyone in this room is going to be singing this. You know, on a Sweet Carolina, or Brown Eyed Girl, or whatever.
So
it
one
be.
of your last public events, what was one of those songs?
Watermelon Sugar.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh, yeah.
Which is interesting because I didn't think anybody would know it yet, you know, or even know it at all.
It's so popular.
And it was just like, okay, you got this. You don't need us to be here. It happens a lot where
I know I didn't see you guys this year at River Stage, but the last time I saw you at River Stage, it was Don't Stop Believing. The whole, I don't know how many thousand people were there,
Yeah.
but they were all singing.
They were singing.
Yeah.
And that's more fun too. I have to tell singers a lot of times because I've coached a lot of bands and stuff. And I'll say, hey, listen, if they're willing to sing in a crowd, stop. Because this ain't about you.
Yeah.
It's about them. And you make it about them and you ask them to sing the whole night long. And if they'll sing, stop singing. Let them carry their thing, right?
Kristina, I think we should have Sharon join them on stage one night.
I think she should sing that one song.
Mark is gonna learn it. He's gonna learn
Fancy
it.
and, is that?
Because I'm fancy like apple.
A fancy like.
On a date night.
What is that?
It's the country tune. It's,
You
what's
haven't
it?
heard
It's
it?
Walker Hayes.
Walker Hayes.
Okay.
You've heard it, Max.
She'll go ahead, Oreo shake with 2 spoons or something.
Bourbon Street shake and Oreo.
That's a steak. That's a
with some
steak.
whipped cream on the top, too.
We're gonna edit this part out.
Don't you dare edit this. This is the best part of the whole show.
Come on, Max, what's your favorite song to play?
I always enjoy playing any Journey song that we play. I think that that's my favorite. Any Journey song that we play is like my favorite song.
What's the first song you all learned to play? I don't know why I just thought of
Oh, you mean when we were kids?
What's
No,
the
yeah.
very
That
first?
was Jeremiah was a bullfrog.
Yeah.
That was the very first one.
Or we learned an REO Speedwagon song called Riding the Storm Out. But this band started and we played a song by Chicago. But then since then we've learned a lot of songs. So many songs that I think we forgot most of.
We did,
It's been great.
This has been good.
I absolutely love
This
it.
is-
room fun.
This has been really good. Okay, so just for anybody listening, you all don't just do weddings. We've talked about you do public events. What else we got?
Corporate events, we do a lot of corporate events. We do a lot of charity events. TheCrashers.com. You can check us out. And just check out our website. It's really great. It's new. We just kind of updated the whole website. So it's kind of fun, whether you're going to do a corporate event, wedding, or a public event. We'd love to play for you, and we'd love to celebrate your night with you, that's for sure.
And for people that are not from this area, we say local band, and in my mind, when we say local band, that's like a nightclub and a little bar somewhere. But when these guys show up, the people come out. How many people saw you on River Stage this year?
A lot.
It was more than 10,000.
I wouldn't say that. When I judge it, I stand it there. I usually look at 5,000 Jeffersonville and 7,500 probably in New Albany.
New Albany's bigger.
I could be wrong,
Those
though.
drone shots too. You can't really tell.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I judge it. But then again, I'm wrong a lot. Ask my wife.
You were at New Albany's amphitheater too.
I was, and that
That's
was
big.
huge. That was huge. Again, huge. And yeah, those drone pictures. I guess I could sit there and try to count them.
But I think-
Okay, well, let us know after you do
I
that.
I think
appreciate
that they're very humble, and I love that about them. But I mean, in our area, when you hear the Crashers are playing somewhere, you're bringing the people.
Oh my gosh, we got the Crashers on our podcast.
I know.
Oh, hey, whoa, big time.
Hey, nobody showed up though.
I know. The band's
I thought
over.
there was always 6 of you.
But they got a rider because they got this.
They got the food. No,
Funny.
I'll tell you what I think, and I've told many bands this. I said, if you're going to start a cover band, you're going to have fun, you're going to do weddings, you're going to do things like this, make sure that you let the audience pick the songs you want, right? So that's one thing that we do a lot. Like, we listen to people. So when you say that song, if somebody else says that song to me, and I'm being honest with you, then we will all review that.
Fancy like.
So once somebody, not you, somebody else not in this room, would you stop it? If I literally left and they said, man, do you guys do Fancy Like? Immediately I would send it up to the guys and go, we need to play Fancy Like.
Please don't send them.
And Jesse X will be like, hell no.
No, they are very good about that.
email.
That's some-
Fancy
You're going to need like a tambourine or I don't even know.
Knock it off my song. I like that song.
And if you need somebody to sing it for you.
I promise you it's gonna happen.
Yeah, okay. Oh, they're gonna listen to this song and be like, what's wrong with them? Okay, Sharon, come on, close it out.
I just can't say thank you enough. I know that you guys are crazy busy and took your time to come here today. That means the world to us. I think we learned a lot about hiring bands. I know that I get asked questions a lot that I don't know the answer to by my clients. So I really appreciate you being here and sharing your experience and your talent with us. Go ahead and tell everybody where to find you on social media and how to get a hold of you and how to book the Crashers.
So you can get on go to our website, crashers.com, thecrashers.com. Some people know us as the Louisville Crashers, and you can find us at the LouisvilleCrashers.com as well, because we own that one too. We also are on Instagram. We're also on Facebook. Both of those you can find with the Crasher Band. What else?
You can call your cell, you can call Max.
Here's my cell number. No, but we're on some of the other Wedding Wire and The Knot and those places that are that kind of thing. So
One Google search and they can
Yeah.
find you.
and if for some reason you can't find the band, like if you're looking for somebody, we're not available, let us know because we'll help you find somebody else. We love giving other people business if we're unavailable.
You guys have helped a lot of bands.
Yeah, we
Get a
really,
leg up.
Yeah.
we really want to help as many people get business as they can. So just let us know. We'll help you any way we can.
And you don't have to be local to use them.
That's right.
No,
Hey,
you have to be
something
local.
else I was thinking about today. During this little thing we were at today, this little, what was it called? What would it be?
A
It
luncheon.
was a
Mixer?
little private thing,
Is that a
yes.
mixer?
A luncheon.
Yeah.
A luncheon. The one thing I thought about we should get into business of is engagement parties.
Yes.
What do you mean?
Oh, it could just,
People should get engaged. They should, for one thing, they should hire us to do a video, and so the groom can give a video to the bride as
A
they're
proposal.
getting- Yes, a proposal.
Video.
Song of us playing a song about them getting married. The other thing is that once they do get engaged, they should do an engagement party, small, something at their house with their family, and we come in, play an engagement party at their house.
Now we're talking.
oh, wait a second, but you could do the video to where it was kind of like happening live, but it's pre-recorded.
Yes.
And then you drop the screen and
Yes,
boom.
there we are.
Drop the
We have-
screen. There's
we have
gonna be
a-
a screen now.
Almost every-
I was gonna say sheet, but let's go with
Almost
screen.
I think it's called a curtain.
Okay, that's the curtain call. But every single public date we've done this year, we have had someone get engaged on stage. It happens at River Stage.
Every
It happened
show.
at the other one we did,
New Albany.
New Albany.
Did
We
you
got-
all know about it ahead of time?
People get in touch with us.
They reached out, okay.
The guys will call and say, hey, I want to, they know that we're catering. In other words, I think that's it. People just go, hey, can I get up and sing a song with you? And I go, yeah.
Good to
They're
know.
like, what? And seriously, I don't care about that. I am not, I don't want to be the star. Let somebody else be the star. That guy calls me on the phone and goes, hey, I want to propose to my girlfriend
You're
on
all
stage. I'm like, are you kidding me? You can't pay for this kind of stuff, right? And so, yeah. Yes, I'm in on that.
I love it.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Very
All right.
nice people.
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you all for
guys
coming.
so much.